Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino, CEO of K9 for Veterans. I'm here tonight with Dan Gibbons from Freedom Cafe Liberty and my co-host Jillian Jans. But before we start tonight, I'd like to take a moment of silence for two veterans. One was killed in action and one lost the battle to PTSD. Jillian, how am I
Michael
saying?
Isaiah
Nance. Was killed in action in Afghanistan, and Clayton Irons, who was one of our veterans for K9 service dogs, was recently deceased. So if you take a minute of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Dan, you're here tonight to discuss Cafe Liberty, which is a culinary educational program for veterans and their families. Why don't you, first of all, you served in the Army.
I did.
When did you get out?
I was in the reserves, the Illinois Guard, from 72 to 78. I was number 20 in the original draft lottery. I was a sophomore in college.
Right.
So if I wanted to finish my education, I needed to sign up for a unit. They weren't really taking people, but I found a unit that would sign me up. I got through with my education. Within a week, I was at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and then Fort Gordon, Georgia. I got out with my MP training in October.
So
Luckily for me, within 3 months, there was a so-called ceasefire in Vietnam, and my unit wasn't deployed.
Thank God for that. Okay, we're going to be talking about Cafe Liberty. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about Cafe Liberty and basically what it is and how it got started?
Okay. Well, what it is, it's a culinary training school, a free culinary training school for veterans and veterans' families. How did it come about? Our foundation, the Dan Gibbons Turkey Trot Foundation, is 35 years old. 3.5 to 4 years ago, our board made a conscious decision to be more. Our main purpose is to feed the hungry, give money to local food banks. But we've been doing that for so long. We say, you know what? Instead of teaching or giving somebody a fish to eat for a day, let's teach them how to fish,
cook that fish, right?
to eat for a lifetime. So we made that decision that it was going to be job training, and a space became available, a kitchen with all the amenities, and so Cafe Liberty evolved. We started 5 years ago the Fighting Hunger Games, which is a golf marathon to fund the job training. 36 guys play 100 holes of golf. They each get their pledge money.
It's a lot of golf.
It's a lot of golf.
Yeah.
So after a few years, we had the nest egg to open up the job training. The space became available, and Cafe Liberty evolved. And we made a decision that we wanted to help veterans. Started out as just veterans, and then through my friend Mike Curley from the Road Home program,
Right.
their program is for families or family members.
Right.
When one serves, they all serve. So we open it up to family members as well. And
Mike Curley is an awesome guy. He actually directs the Road Home program that we work with for our service dogs.
Right.
And they do an outstanding job for our veterans.
Right.
Their program, bar none, hands down, is the best of the best out there. They're on the cutting edge of PTSD. Okay, getting back to the Cafe Liberty, what was your reason for starting this, Dan?
The reason for starting it was because at some point you could only do so much in feeding the hungry. You see so many people out there, if they could just, rather than give them a handout, give them a hand up.
Right.
Teach them how to be self-sufficient.
Right.
So we actually had to change our mission statement to incorporate the job training and the self-sufficiency. So.
Now, this class is open to the immediate family members of veterans.
Right.
Have you had family members take the class together?
No, we almost had a husband and wife team, but for health reasons, one of them couldn't, so she was his transportation. That would be kind of fun to have.
Yeah, wouldn't it though?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
And recently as last week, besides the veterans and the family members, I had lunch with someone you've had on the show, Denise Williams.
Okay.
And she's the president of the Illinois chapter of the American
Right.
Gold Star Moms. How do you become a Gold Star mom? Unfortunately,
That's a tough crowd
Yeah.
to be a part of. This one you don't want to join.
right. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
you're a Gold Star mom because you've lost a son or daughter
Right.
in combat. Well, one of the problems that they face are the siblings. And having lost a nephew
Right.
to cancer, knowing that his younger brother and sister, not intentionally, but all the focus is on one person or one situation, the deceased. The brother and sister unintentionally get neglected. Hey, what about me?
Sure.
Right.
So we're going to welcome in Gold Star siblings and
It's wonderful.
make their life better.
That's amazing what you're doing. I mean, giving these veterans a chance to start basically a whole new career.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Exactly.
you're giving them, and not only the veterans, but, you know, the family members of a veteran.
Right.
I mean, that's.
We're not always remembered.
No.
Yeah,
Stop and think.
the unsung hero.
Stop and think. If
Yeah.
your job in the service was, all right, I'll talk about our chef instructor soon. Okay, he was a gunner's mate, a first gunner's mate. Now when he gets out, what's he gonna do? Apply to be a first gunner's mate?
No,
Right.
not many openings for that.
An ammunition supply
Yeah.
sergeant. Okay, I'm gonna go apply, you know. So a lot of them need new careers, and this is a door open for them.
What experience, Dan? A veteran comes to you. Are there any prerequisites that said, you know, hey, you know, you have to have a college degree, high school, or
No, we don't have any educational. Obviously, we'll ask for a biography, a little work history, education history, but it doesn't matter if they went through only sixth grade. We've got college graduates too, so the door is open. Our main thing is, I'll be honest with them. I might, if I have a feeling that I might need to do a background check, I will.
right?
But I have a really good feeling about spending 20 or 30 minutes
Just
interviewing
that
somebody.
initial interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were telling me a story before we went on the air about a certain veteran, a 79-year-old veteran. Why don't you share that? I found that just so heartwarming.
It really
It
was.
was just like, it was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
A little over a year ago, there was a gentleman standing outside our window. We're in downtown Wheaton, and he's reading our sign, and he's looking up. I call him in. It's got to be 98 degrees out. And so I call him in, and I say, "Hi, how you doing?" So we sit down. "Can I help you?" He goes, "I'm interested in your program. Do you care how old I am?" I said, "No, all I care about is that you're a veteran." He hands me his DD 214. He says, "I'm 79 years old. And you're interested in our program?" I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I feel like I don't matter anymore." And that broke my heart. And I said,
Oh, yeah.
"Are you kidding me?"
It's got to be.
Yeah, so I talked to him for 20 minutes. I said, his name's Ron. "Ron, you're in." So I said, "You do know that the program's free, but you need to get here. Do you have a car?" He said, "No." I said, "How'd you get here?" He said, "Well, I took the red line to Ogilvie, and then I walked from the train station 5 blocks away." I said, "Where do you live?" He said, 4 miles north of Wrigley Field." 79 years old. He was never late. And a great student. I knew I would have a hard time finding him work when he got out.
Because of his age.
Because of his age.
Right.
He turned 80 in February.
God
So I hired him.
bless.
He's got one living relative.
So you gave him a job?
Gave him a job. And 2 days a
Nice.
week he comes in, does some prep work, dices some tomatoes, some lettuce, does some prep work, and he's happy. He matters.
Yeah.
So,
You gave me something to get up for in the
yeah,
morning.
right.
Yeah. Jillian, how important is this from the wife of a veteran, family member, to have a program available like this?
I've mentioned this to the gentleman before we started, but I feel like it's common with veterans themselves that I've spoken with that they feel like they don't have a purpose, and it's not that they want a handout; it's they want,
Stand up.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's something. It's something to do, to have, not even to wake up for. Like, let's say you have your wife and your kids to wake up for, because that's your life. But at the same time, you have something outside of that matters, that you're then surrounding yourself with other veterans, that you're then feeling that camaraderie, that
Right.
kind of thing that you're missing,
this is
that
really
one
important
piece.
to
That's
our
what
veterans.
that's what I see a lot is that they feel like that piece of military camaraderie is not there, and without that, it's like they're lost. And with this, I mean, it seems like it's a perfect combination
It's
of
a
the
great
things that are
program.
needed.
It really
It is.
I really
It truly is.
I'm
I got to give you
very
that,
excited that
yeah. just to be.
And they even mentioned that, that they come in, we're 3 days a week, 9 to 3. And they even acknowledge that and say, it's nice to be around
Other
my fellow
veterans and stuff, yeah.
Because they seem to walk the same walk, talk the same talk. And believe me, we're done at 3 and they're out the door if everything's clean. There's never been an issue. Nobody complains about whose turn it is to mop, whose turn it is to
Right.
do this or that. They all chip in and get it done, and I love that.
Right, because teamwork is just a huge
Right.
part of what everything is in military life,
Right,
and
exactly.
it transfers very well, I'm sure, to this
Yeah.
kind of
Dan,
environment.
Dan, what are your plans for the future in this program? Have you gone that far yet? With your
Well, I'm
thinking
always
about
thinking, trying to think a year, 2 or 3 ahead.
All right.
And I think we still have our training wheels on. And
How new is this program?
our first class started in January of 2018.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're less than a year and a half old. But I think once we hit, I read a book one time called The Tipping Point. I think when you hit the tipping point and things kick in, I think we'll have a waiting list, and I want to avoid that.
Right.
I want to have my goal is to have another facility, at
A
least
bigger
one
facility?
more. Keep the one we have. We're in the western
Right.
suburbs, but why not have one southwest,
Right, I get it.
northwest?
Absolutely, we got a lot of
You know.
vets in the southwest suburbs,
I
I can
know.
see
Yeah,
that.
I know.
yeah. Well, we're going through that with K9.
Right.
We got our facility in Roosevelt and Central. We have so many veterans out in the Will County, DuPage County
Sure.
area that have a hard time getting to our
With our friend
location.
Paul in Countryside,
Yeah.
he's great. He's great.
Paul has done some amazing things for
Yeah.
K9, and I guess he's the one that introduced us.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
I mean, he's a great contact out of Countryside. He's just a good guy. Somebody wants to apply for your program. How do they do that?
Well, they can pull an application off the website cafeliberty.org, or they can call us. The phone number's on the website as well.
Yeah, we're going to show that in a
Yeah.
minute. So
630-868-3003. They call, make an appointment, come in and talk to me. And we recently, and this has really been a huge help. Initially, we had a hard time finding the timing for the veterans because an 11-week program, somebody applies and we're in week 3, they're going to have to wait another 8 to 9 weeks for the next
Right.
class to
that's
start.
the beginning.
So our chef instructor, I'm going to talk about him in a minute too, Chef Billy.
Yeah.
I said, can we do staggered starts? In other words, can we have 3 students in week 9, 3 in week 5, 3 in week 2?
That was fantastic foresight. Going
Yeah, so I talked to him and he said yes, and so that's where we're at right now. And quickly about him, Billy Gordon was in our first class, 20-year Navy veteran, and excellent teacher. He and our original chef instructor, Chef Cheryl Corrado, who wrote our curriculum, she was the executive chef at Le Cordon Bleu
Oh, wow.
at Chic.
Doesn't get better than
No.
that.
So, but Billy was one of our first students, one of our first graduates, and Chef Cheryl and her husband are making plans to move to Florida. So promoting Billy from within was a natural. So that's a great success story that he comes in and applies, graduates. We actually hired him as a prep cook before he graduated, and now he's our chef instructor. And he's got the ability to
He speaks the same language as they do.
same
That's-
language,
yeah.
and he can coach the staggered classes.
That's
So it's
wonderful.
perfect.
That's amazing. You have a pretty big event coming up. Why don't you tell us? In fact, I want to go to the overhead camera right now so we could take a look at this. Why don't you explain a little bit
Okay.
about this?
The Freedom and Dignity Festival. It's an afternoon and evening of country music. Foresight. How are we going to expand Cafe Liberty? How will we be able to afford to do it? So on August 10th at Schaumburg Boomer Stadium, we're going to have the Freedom and Dignity Festival. Our headliner is Toby Keith.
Toby Keith.
Toby Keith's going on at 9 o'clock. But our
That's
full
up
lineup
on the
is,
camera now.
we're opening up with Sixth String Crossing, and then Greg Campbell, Colt Ford, Clay Walker, Toby Keith will go on at 9 o'clock. Toby Keith's been a huge supporter of our military.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's been overseas and entertained the troops that are in harm's way through the USO, and just You know, he's been over 8, 9, 10 times. I can't even count them. But so it's going to be Saturday, August 10th.
So this is going to help support Cafe Liberty.
All proceeds come to Cafe Liberty.
So if you're interested in supporting Cafe Liberty, please check out the, Dan, why don't you tell us where they can go out and find
Okay, we're going to go with
more
you go
information.
to freedomanddignityfestival.org.
You can see it at the top there.
But it's not freedom ampersand, it's freedom and dignityfestival.org. You know what,
Awesome.
you can go to
Right.
cafeliberty.org. That's the easier one. Cafeliberty.org, click on the link to go to that website.
And all
Buy
that money
tickets.
is going to go to support
Yes.
our veterans for
Right.
Cafe Liberty.
And if you can't attend that day, you might have a wedding or out of town, whatever. On the website, you can make a donation to send a veteran, send 10 veterans, send 100 veterans. We'll have them in the audience that day.
That's awesome.
That's amazing, it really is. Tell us about, okay, you started this again to help veterans,
Right.
and you started it to help the family of veterans now. It doesn't get better than that, it really doesn't. I mean, the purpose of what you're doing is going to open the doors for so many veterans that really don't have any direction right now.
Right, they need a new career.
They need a new career path.
And-
And the families of too. Just speaking as a wife, a lot of the wives moved around a whole bunch
Sure.
with those guys, and they don't have a marketable skill for a workplace
Right.
as far as something that translates from one area to the next, and
Right.
Right.
so on and so forth. And they're looking for it. I can tell you,
Right.
I see it all the time on the message boards and everything like that. So it's a wonderful thing as far as that goes too. So.
Yes. We, what I find, it's all about retaining dignity, getting your dignity. Our motto is dignity served daily. I wear it on my sleeve.
Oh, nice. I like it.
When our students put on that uniform, that chef coat, they're veterans, they put on, it's a uniform again. And they're working side by side with people wearing that same uniform.
It's
And you can see their confidence, their self-esteem just rise a little bit.
they're
And then they all
Gives
of a
them a
sudden,
purpose again,
yeah,
which a lot of them lose. A lot of us lose when we come
people,
home.
people
Sure.
just in general just very appreciate what actual purpose feels like, and how big of a difference it is from being in a military, having a mission, having, whether that mission comes from high up or whether it's coming from your team leader, it's still a mission, and then coming out and having nothing. You
Right.
have nobody who's telling you what to do, I mean, besides your wife, of course.
You're right.
Excuse my generalization there. But I mean, it's not the same. And with this, you're choosing the venue as far as you're choosing to go for food, or in that area, and at the same time you're then getting that direction from somebody else who has been in the military, who understands how to give you the orders that you
Sure.
understand, who understands how to talk to you
Right.
like you're going to respond to best, and
Right.
in a way that doesn't make you feel devalued, doesn't make you feel like there's something wrong with you, that's something different about you,
Right.
that all of those things that you find common in places that aren't catering necessarily to
Sure.
our veterans specifically.
sure. Well, one
So-
thing that veterans learn, well, you learn real quick, whether it's basic training or boot camp or whatever, whatever your initial training is structure. We have structure, but we're not as strict as that. But
Right.
but we expect our students to show up, be in uniform. They'll have a locker.
Right.
Be in uniform at 9:00. Chef instructor's going to do a demonstration, and then each student's going to go to their station, and he expects them to replicate what he did.
Right.
That's structure.
Right.
That's what they need, and that's what, believe it or not, that's what they want.
Right, absolutely. And it's something that you can't always, especially when you're the adult because a lot of
Right.
people, a lot of military go into the military at 18,
Mm-hmm.
and you're coming out of your own house, your family who's given you your structure. You come out of that, and now you're the adult, you have a family, and you're the one who's supposed to provide that structure.
Right.
But wait a second, there's a medium in between there, though, where you can't necessarily expect to hold your family to the militaristic standards, but at the same time, there's structure that's needed, and hopefully maybe with learning how to get that medium ground with
Sure.
your program and everything, they'll be able to then implement that into the rest of their lives, and
Exactly.
all of that. That sounds
And
fantastic.
if somebody wants to volunteer for your organization, how do they go about that?
cafeliberty.org.
Capital Liberty.
You know, just
What are
send-
some of the opportunities that they have for
Well,
volunteers?
we need a lot of volunteers. We still do our 5K race on Thanksgiving. And we have over 7,500 people in
7,500.
downtown Elmhurst.
a lot of
We have,
people.
It's a lot of running.
we'll have a nice patriotic medley starting out. We've got,
How do you feel about
Honor
walking?
Guard.
Can I walk?
and walk.
Yeah, right.
Half the people
That's what I'm
walk.
doing.
Okay.
We're not
Yeah,
chipped.
Okay.
5-6 years ago, I had Kerry Pinkowski, who's been the director of the Chicago Marathon for 30+ years. I had him as my honorary starter. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about chip timing? He goes, Dan, nobody's running or walking in your race to qualify for Boston. Plus, it costs $2 a piece to chip everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
That's $20,000 that goes to the food pantries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
you know what, so I heard it from the king, and so we don't. It's
Yeah,
just
no,
just
so
a
you
fun
got
day.
7,500 runners, walkers.
Yeah,
walk
runners and walkers, yeah.
Participants.
Right. On Thanksgiving
Good one.
morning,
I got you.
we have a saying, if you're not cooking, you're in the way. So come on in,
Yeah,
do a walk or a run,
I like that.
go home and.
And how do you sign up for that?
They go to Cafe Liberty.
Go to
That-
cafeliberty.org, and we'll send you to the Turkey Trot website.
So basically, go to cafeliberty.org
Yeah,
today.
And volunteer, anything you do to help.
Do something.
Yeah, I mean, and sponsor this concert too. This concert's gonna be huge. If you get the opportunity, and I don't know too many people that are not a Toby Keith fan. Let's face it, I mean.
Or, I mean, you have a vast array of
Yeah, other
Yeah.
talent
Talent,
there as
so-
well, but please go out and support this concert because it's gonna be an amazing night, and the funds are gonna go directly towards Cafe Liberty. It's gonna help more veterans' families, find a position in life that they're gonna.
exactly.
Really, we've given you an array of options. You can financially support, you can volunteer and support, you can just do a lot of things
Sure.
that are accessible through Cafe Liberty.
And what the Freedom and Dignity Festival is all about, it doesn't matter what your beliefs and this is about patriotism.
Right.
This is about helping people.
Supporting our veterans.
Who have had our backs all along. Now it's
Right.
time
Absolutely.
to have
we
their
do
back.
something for them.
It's to give them a hand up, not a handout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just have a day of fun. Raise some money.
Right.
So that we can have another Cafe Liberty or two.
Do you have any other events planned other than the turkey?
Well, after we get through with the concert, we're gonna be digging in and organizing the turkey trot.
That's your
Believe it or
next-
not, that's only 139 days away.
Wow.
But who's counting?
Oh my goodness.
And then
Yeah.
after that, we do have a new one that we might institute through Paul at the Texas
Right.
Roadhouse. He's big on organizing Harley road rallies.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
so we
doing
might
one
do that.
August 11th.
The day after, right?
Yeah, August 11th, out at the Countryside location in Countryside, the Texas Roadhouse.
Right.
They're going to have their first annual motorcycle run. It's going to be an awesome event. Get out there, support that, and support your organization as well. So you're the day before,
Right.
Right.
We're the 10th.
the
And then
10th.
you're the 11th.
All right.
In May, we'll do one to benefit Cafe Liberty. Then we've got the Fighting Hunger Games a month after that. Then hopefully, Freedom and Dignity Festival 2.
The
That'd be
second
nice.
annual.
Second
Dan,
annual.
where do you see this going? I mean, what's your ultimate goal?
I have no cap on it. If there's funds, it's all about funding. If you have the funding, you
Yeah.
can make a Cafe Liberty 2.
Believe me, we know all
Cafe
about
Liberty
that.
3, right. With the K9s for veterans.
Yeah,
The
it's-
beauty of this whole thing and the reason that I'm here. Paul introduces me to you. You know Mike Curley.
Right.
It's all a big network.
Exactly.
And it's all about
Absolutely.
helping veterans,
Yeah.
people that have helped us forever.
Yeah, I'm getting the cue. We've got a minute.
Okay.
So in closing, please support Cafe Liberty. It's an awesome organization. Dan, you've got this down. You really do. And to help our veterans the way that you're helping them, get a fresh start, a jump start on a new career.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing gift. I mean, it really is. So, get out and support this concert. Go to Cafe Liberty and do whatever you can to
And
help.
remember, you don't have to be Dan to do. You don't have to be a Dan because I mean, there's only so many people that can do that. But you
Right.
can support by going to Cafe Liberty. You
Right.
can support by sending a veteran to this festival. You can support by walking like myself, in a fun run.
Thank you for
So
the opportunity to be
there's-
here.
Dan, it's our pleasure, and
Excellent.
again,
Thank you.
I just think it's an amazing gift what you're giving to our veterans, and it's free. That's the amazing part. Doesn't cost the veterans a dime out of pocket. The only thing they have to do is get there, right?
And if they have trouble, we'll give them a stipend so they can get on the bus.
Unbelievable. Dan,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Joe,
very much.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for your
us here
service,
tonight.
guys.
And look, come back next Thursday. We're going to be on.
I'll be back. Yay!
Jill will be back. We'll see you then. Thank you.